Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to What Did Prince Do This Week? My name is Michael Dean, and joining me, Mr. Seeley. Sir, how are you?
Good morning. As Mark said. Good morning.
Yeah.
I'm good, man. Anytime I'm in the space with you, just to enjoy great talk, man, I'm great. So thank y'all for having me, and we're gonna have a funky good time.
Yes. And jump on in. Oh, right. We couldn't get started without the queen. Let's bring
Oh,
Violet
Lord.
in the building. What's going on, Violet? Good
Hey,
morning.
hey, hey.
Welcome.
Thank you. How's it going this morning?
It's going great. Now it's
Yeah.
now it's going good. Let's put Violet in the middle.
There
There
you
we
go.
go.
There you
Oh,
go.
okay.
There you go. Look at the
Back
offset.
to our basics.
Give us center attention, so they ain't got to look at us.
Exactly. But good morning to everybody in the chat. Let me shout out if it Anisha, if I'm saying your name right. She was the first person. She was here before we started. So I love it. I love it. Salute. Oh man. So yeah, good morning to everybody there in the chat. Of course, like I said, we are joined by Violet and Celie. We want to give a shout out to D'Angela. She is out doing her thing out there, but we're holding it up for her. And just want to say good morning to everybody. So we got to get started in with our music. You know what I'm saying? So as we bring people come on into the church, because pastor's here today. So as people come on into church, we're gonna bring them in with some of this. All right. So this is Kenya by the great Eric Leeds. And as we vibe to that, we're gonna say good morning to everybody. What up, Nick? Myron, Doc, Malia, good morning. This is my Tanja, what's going on? Yes, good morning. J.D. Washington.
Appreciate you, brother Washington, brother Claw. Hey, Lee Christian, good to see you out there, sister Tanja. What's up, everybody?
I don't have the love sexies. I'll do love sexies.
There you go. There you go.
So what's up? Lee. Trey. Yeah. Deborah, what's going on? But yes. So as we're sliding into this morning, Saturday, I hope you guys had a great week. Just gonna do something a little slightly different. Seeley,
Yes,
sir,
sir.
how was your week?
Look here, we did have some tornadoes across the state of Mississippi. My wife works for a group, One Voice, which is a cultural grassroots organization, but she's also a Red Cross responding volunteer. So she's been down on the South End because, and this is not a knock, this is just truthful. Often when Red Cross and FEMA come into cities, they rarely know where the Black communities are. So we need people like my wife and those y'all in the areas to work, because if you don't know, you don't know. Sometimes it's racism, sometimes you just don't know. And so my wife's job is to tell FEMA and Red Cross, here's where the resources, where the Black communities are. So that's one of the things. So she's been down on what we call the Gulf Coast of Mississippi. So I've been keeping an eye on her and just watching that. But other than that, we've been blessed and just happy to be here, brother.
All right. Thank you for that. That's we getting a little update on what's been going on in our world. Violet Brown, how was your week been?
It's been a week. I haven't felt real good this week, but I won't go into it. It's been a week. We'll just say it like that.
All right. Well, hopefully you start to feel better. You're in a place right
Yeah,
now with
I'm a little
family,
better
right?
today. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm better today.
Was it just like a sickness type of feeling
I
funny? Or?
think Like kind of a jet lag, being around too many people, kind of because I've been traveling from state to state and all that kind of stuff. So yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
okay,
I've
flex on
been
that.
tested. I'm good. I just no, not a flex. Just enjoying life. You know.
Hey, I don't, but I feel you. No, I'm trying to know. How about that? We mentioned it, I think last week when we were doing the dopamine, and I was like, there's this other version. So salute to Kenya, excuse me. And we're gonna get into the particulars of that song in a minute, but we still sliding into getting in the morning, feeling good. And so I had to listen, I gotta throw this on real quick and then we can get started. But this is the kind of mood I'm feeling this morning. So we're gonna vibe. Yeah, that's a bar of what's happening. Now listen right here.
You listen once, you will listen twice. Your body can't escape it cause it feels so nice. It's like a lady perfect rhythm, guaranteed to leave you feeling like a cookie wall. A wet cookie wall, but it's a dopamine rush. It's about to come this y'all.
Yeah.
The dopamine rush is about to come this y'all.
All right. Now we can get started. And before we also, we ready? Y'all ready? Are you
I'm ready.
ready?
Let's do it.
Take.
Oh boy. Oh
I
Lord.
want there to be a Michael Dean button so bad, but I wanted a yo boy. Shake! That's what I want, the Michael Dean button.
Well,
Oh, Lord.
we're gonna get into that today, but I know we better get started here and quit playing. Actually, give me 1 second while I grab our screen. We can get going. Okay, all right. Welcome to week 25 of What Did Prince Do This Week? And you already know what we do. We do this every week. Uh-oh. Hold on. There we go. All right. So, of course, what do we always say? The estate of Prince Rogers Nelson is not affiliated, associated, or connected with the What Did Prince Do This Week book club series, nor has it endorsed or sponsored the What Did Prince Do This Week book club series. Further, the estate of Prince Rogers Nelson has not licensed any of his intellectual property to the producers, advertisers, or directors of What Did Prince Do This Week book club series. I didn't even notice the word advertising in there. Where's my cut?
Michael Dean,
Yes,
you
sir.
gonna be making more money, so we got to be making more money too.
I love it. It's all connected. Okay. So we are going week to week, Sunday to Saturday of 1983, not date to date. And for a more detailed schedule, and then you can follow the schedule so you know what to expect every week. There's the QR code that you can use. And the What Did Prince Do This Week? We are using the expanded edition of the book, which I have right here. But you don't have to have that, but it helps. And of course, yes, all of this is being archived on our YouTube channel, which you see right there. There's 2 of them there. So you can always go back and read. And it's funny for me, like I get the comments from people that are watching them, like they're just starting to watch it. It's like, yo, this is cool. So it's kind of cool. And of course, we have our own hashtag WDPDTW. And of course, we're listening to Times Square, Eric Lee's Kenya, which I love that track.
You
And
just
this
go like every week. I told you what my phobia was, and you just like, I'm just kidding.
hey, sometimes it's like that.
You gonna make me Facebook fear?
The song was composed by Eric Leeds Eric Lees is on tenor and baritone saxophone. Atlanta Bliss on trumpets. Some guy named Prince is playing the drums. And then Larry Frantanangelo, I'm saying it right, is percussion, mixed by James Faber. So please go check that album out. Week 25. All right. So we are here and we're going to go through. We had one rehearsal this week. Actually, that's all that we had this week was a rehearsal. In terms of what was on here was listed, no studio recordings. So according to the book, there were not. And as you can see here on the calendar, on the 21st, there was a rehearsal that contained I Would Die For You, Baby, I'm a Star, and Body Heat. And of course, Tuesday, June 21st, this rehearsal that we're going to talk about was at the Warehouse, St. Louis Park, Minnesota. Is that building, does anybody know, does that building still exist, or is that
Guess I could drive over there, right? I have no idea.
another flex? I love location flex.
Is that what that was? Okay. I'm like, it's just the truth. I'm just kidding. Let me be quiet.
I Would Die For You rehearsal, Baby, I'm a Star rehearsal, and then again, Body Heat, producer, Prince, engineer, Mr. Cubby. And do you guys have anyone? One of you guys have the book in front of you? The pages
Yes.
in question. Violet, do you mind starting us
We're
off?
on 97.
97, yes, please.
I Would Die For You was something that just always hit me. That part?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. I'm sorry. I'm hit with those lyrics, and I'm just stunned by the beauty of what he wrote. That's one of my favorites, Lisa Coleman. Rehearsals continue through the summer with the goal of creating a solid unit that could instinctively read Prince's mind on stage, and he did that through repetition and experimentation. Everyone in the revolution understood that sort of commitment and his reasons. One of the things that I connected with Prince when we first met and first started rehearsing was that same kind of discipline, recalled Lisa. I hadn't experienced that in bands. I had been with bands with people, and usually it was more casual. You go to rehearsal and you're like hanging around and jamming, and it says laughs in parentheses, like, oh, let's run through the song. With Prince, it was really a great discipline. It was a great way to learn to translate that into a band situation. It was just work, 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 work. All that preparation and practice was so smart because when you go out and your band starts to make it and you get bigger and bigger crowds, it's really distracting and hard to concentrate. People are screaming at you. If you're well rehearsed, it's just in your body. Prince was smart enough to know how to control the situation. It was pretty amazing.
Wow. So that whole thing about rehearsal, yeah, as Ricky says in the chat, discipline. Seeley, what's your thoughts on this whole part right here?
When I read that, in fact, I've been quoting this to my grandson. My grandson just turned 12. I've been quoting something. Probably the most important thing that I ever read in my life was when Prince gave that first Rolling Stone interview. And my favorite quote was, Prince said that when my friends were playing, I was working. When they were sleeping, I was jamming. Every morning they awoke, I had a new groove. And I would say that quote to my students, and I would say, what does that mean to you all? And they would give me a lot of things. And I would say that what it means is that Prince became one of the greatest of all time, not because of talent, but because of work. And I think that at some point, that's where Prince he doesn't get enough credit for being a workaholic. And what happens is, and Brother Dean and Sister Brown, y'all understand this, and a lot of people in the chat understand this, who maybe they didn't choose their passion as their work. And so a lot of time people don't choose their passion as their work. They think that we don't do anything. We just out here having fun. I'm like, no. You know, I always tell people, don't get mad at me because your job sucks. Don't get mad at me because I love my job, right? When I got to college, let me quickly, when I got to college, Jackson State had, like at that time, they offered 103 majors, right? I took all the little, they had a little forms, what you had to take, what you had to take. And I said, let me go ahead and choose my major. And anything that had more than 2 classes of math on it went immediately into the garbage. So that left me. It was a curriculum in music and a curriculum in literature. I can't sing, I can't play. That went in the garbage. I was gonna read and write for free anyway. So since I was gonna read and write for free anyway, why not choose a major net? But the point was, I got published because I wrote every day. I got published because I read every day. And I think that's what people try to undercut Prince and don't understand. That when you are mesmerized by what he's doing at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, which, by the way, you should have been mesmerized because he'd been doing that his whole time, but I digress, that discipline about which Lisa, and then what I love is Andre Simone. We forget Andre Simone always talked about how much he loved Prince's dad, and that he always loved that Prince's dad would tell them 2 things. And he would say, practice your craft, don't get nobody pregnant. I don't care what you say, that's great advice. Now you can be mad at that. That ain't good. That's sage advice. Practice your craft, don't get nobody pregnant. Because, so I think that for me, it said most people, they say most people fail because they choose the wrong career. Nope. Most people fail because they don't invest in the life they say they want. Wow. And Prince is a perfect example of, I'm going to invest in the life I want. And I'll end on this. Joyce Carol Oates, the great writer Joyce Carol Oates, says that interruption is the great enemy of writing. So I'm going to expand that to all artistry. Interruption is the great enemy of productivity. And so sometimes as artists, in particular if there's any young artists out there, people can call it selfish, but you have to build a life where you don't let anybody interrupt what you're trying to build. Because there are people out there who are not trying to build anything. There were people who weren't trying to build. And Prince was really clear. You're not going to interrupt what I'm going to build. I'm going to outwork you. And if you don't want to work with me, I'm going to show you the door. So I want everybody to remember that Joyce Carol Oates quote, interruption is the great enemy of productivity. And Prince was the living example of that. I'll shut up.
I'm like, preach.
Lord.
You said we were at church. You were not wrong. Okay.
Listen, Celie, what? Can you say that one more? Interruption is the what?
Interruption is the great enemy. Well, Joyce Carol Oates said that interruption is the great enemy of writing. And what I do is I expand it to all artists. Interruption is the great enemy of productivity. And I'll give y'all another example. I'm sure all have seen and like Mo Better Blues.
Yes.
Remember the scene where Clark comes by and Bleak is rehearsing? And I love that Bleak says, you notice my rehearsal time, yet still.
Right.
Right? You know what this is. That you still come by and interrupt me. Now, Sister Brown, I don't say this, when you that fine, you make an interrupt. Let's be very clear. Now, when you that fine, you understand. That's right, Ricky. You in the business. You ain't too far going. And she was interrupting the business, but I mean, when you that fine, I make it make a little time for the business.
Okay,
but that was a great example of how when you are truly trying to build something, you have to separate from your life people who are not trying to build. And a lot of times you guys are going to be called selfish, you're going to be called this, you're going to be called that. But those people who calling you that are usually people who've never built anything in their lives. They've never created anything, and they probably unhappy about their own lives. And so I just think that these rehearsals, we all love them. They sound good. We rock out to them. But I think we miss one of the major facets is that Prince didn't become one of the best in the world because he was simply given some God-given talent. God give all us talent. If you believe in God, you don't believe in God, all of us got talent. But do you turn your talent into a skill? And then do you master that skill to where people can appreciate what you had in you? I'll shut up.
Well, yeah. That. And the whole, I love it. You just, something that we kind of maybe do miss sometime when we're listening to these rehearsals. It's easy to get caught into what they were doing, the rehearse the music, but that is a form, is an extreme form of discipline, of determination, preparation. I mean, yeah, if a guy's going 8 hours a day and you're a rock star, you do whatever you want to do, but you got the band in here working it like a job, like y'all literally in here for 8 hours every day, and they ain't gonna see the road. Y'all not ready to see the road. That might be 6 months out. We in the trenches.
Right.
You stop playing. And for him, like you said, yeah, for Prince to be so like aggressive with it in terms of like, oh, you let me show you how to play that part. Stop.
There you go.
And then pow. Yeah, it's fascinating. Man. It's fascinating. The rehearsals. In terms of the songs, I don't know if there's any comments. I mean, obviously, I Would Die for You, Baby, I'm a Star, and the body.
I will tell you this about that. So 3 things, couple things. Number 1, and I'm gonna really show my nerd here. I actually have the I Would Die for You, Baby, I'm a Star ranked in my 3 best versions, right? And I'll tell you why in a moment. So my 3 top versions of Baby, I'm a Star, I Would Die for You. Number 1 at the top of the list was that 17-minute video we got in '85 when they released it. Man, when they released that video, some of y'all not old enough to remember when they released that in real time. Because remember, they released Take Me With You live, and just the breakdown of Controversy. And that I was just like, when he played Controversy and the breakdown of Take Me With You, I was done then. You have to understand, since 6 years old, I've been attending the B.B. King homecoming concert in Indianola, Mississippi. So live music, like I don't remember life before live music. So that Take Me With You. But when they released that 17-minute version of I Would Die for You, Baby, I'm a Star, man, that was it. That was Line in the Sand, everybody else. So that's my top favorite of the performance of those. But my second favorite performance of it is from the Atlanta bootleg, right? And the reason and here's why I love that one, this is because same mashup, almost completely different songs. Okay. Right? At a different groove, right? And what I love is going back, and so those 2, the concert version, and then the third one is the one from Prince of the Revolution Live. And what I like most about the one, there are 2 that I like about Prince and the Revolution Live is the one I like when he breaks down with Sheila, you know, roof, 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 and the dogs in the house, roof, roof, roof. And I really think he threw that in because for the people who were saying, oh, you done sold out the funk. You ain't funky. He was like, no. Let me let you understand. I know about the dogs barking, right? And then if you listen to the groove, after he's completely done with Baby, I'm a Star, the groove switches. And remember the part where he goes, getting funky in here, getting funky. It's smooth, and at that point, it's church revival time. It's funk church happening in the building. And so those 3 I have ranked as my favorite. And I ended with this. I almost got suspended because of that, because I wasn't even a musician. But at 15, I had rounded up my own little revolution in the hallway, and we would go through the whole 17 minutes of that, and we would go through that. And the principal came out in the middle of my 17-minute rendition and said, McInnes, if y'all don't cut out all that noise, I'm going to suspend all of y'all. And I looked, and it got real quiet. Everybody in the hallway, what was going to do? And I looked at the principal, who was a white man, by the way, and he said, McInnes, y'all going to disperse. And I looked at him, and I went, good God, get here, and he started all of us, but the funk had me. I couldn't let the funk go.
Lord,
I was gonna ride that groove out, suspicion or not. When the funk gets you, you got to stay with the funk.
That right there was such a moment in that time of Prince, because I know exactly what you like, that good God and all that. Absolutely, like that was such a Prince thing, man.
Oh my God.
Oh man, well, the
And
power
one
of that
last
music
thing,
had to do that.
the give me 25. And I
Oh,
still counted to it. But then Prince's humor, right? Give me 25. Then I just said, give me 20. He said, y'all are pretty fast, huh? 112. No, I'm paying no bill. I wanted 112, Prince. I wanted to count
he
off
was
112.
ready too. He was ready. And would have hit every one of them. Isn't that funny? Like that whole 25. Didn't you have that so embedded in your mind where you could have heard that at any moment? You knew exactly when they was gonna stop. You'd almost trained your mind to be on point to what they was doing on these shows. Oh man, that's so funny. That's so funny. I think we had talked about this earlier, not today, but in a previous show. But Baby I'm a Star was one of those, grand finale type of songs that Prince seemed to do it. That it was like it always would end with a bang kind of deal. And I think he's probably drawing that from shows that he saw as a youth. Where the show always, it's like a chorus line. Come out.
Is that what they do?
Well, to me, Baby I'm a Star sort of feels like that, like, and even to a greater extent when you get to songs like Gonna Be a Beautiful Night is like the super version of that, but of those, I was going to ask you guys, just dropping this in there, do you know of are there other Prince songs that would be like the sort of grand finale, you in the concert with this, or it's type of song?
Well, I would say that what he would do is he would find ways to crescendo songs.
Okay.
So when you think about the Controversy tour, Controversy has a much different crescendo at the end of the show than it does on the record. When you think about the 1999 tour, 1999 crescendo with the I'm sorry, y'all. When I sing, it sounds like people killing cats in the sack, so I apologize for that. The way 1999 crescendos. So I think you're right and I think what's missing is that today we don't have enough musicians who know enough of history. Mm-hmm. And when I say know enough of history, you have to know something to know it's not corny. And so people think that things may be corny because that's what old folks did. That's how they used to do it. But Prince, again, being a student of music, understood, no, you got to give people the show. The song has to be better. The live version has to be better. So those crescendos. So I think that at the Purple Rain, the ending, and then even when you get to the Sign of Times movie, greatest concert movie ever made, remember Gonna Be a Beautiful Night, it crescendos differently. And again, remember how I said that change at the end of Baby I'm a Star? Mm-hmm. It's Gonna Be a Beautiful Night changes at the end, and when he gets to the I'm feeling like gonna kick some ass up in here, and you can feel the groove shift, right? That's that showtime. That's that little bit more fun. That's that leave you. You got to leave here dancing. Which, by the way, folks, that's a gospel church thing. We want you to lead a church with the Spirit, and so Prince was taking the church part and the secularized part of that, and giving you the show of it in a way that you paid. You didn't pay your money to hit a record. You paid your money to hit. And here's what people. Let's reverse it now. I said on this. Let's reverse it. What people forget about records. And here's what people don't understand. When you go back to the original records and it was trying to capture a live moment. The record was trying to capture what was live. And so I think a lot of times, as you got more people who couldn't really play and more people who weren't really that talented, they were struggling to be like the record, that they were studio productions, as opposed to the record merely being a thumbnail of how great they are live.
That's why we're where we at today.
Yeah.
You just nailed that right there. And you've listened to those early Prince records, you can kind of see it's to emphasis that he actually was dope for real. Like the live version is the version that's the real version.
Oh, no doubt.
Recorded, you know what I mean? But I can see where that flip, like you said. Yeah, well, can't really play. We can piece it together in the studio and it's gonna be dope. But then you never get to hear what it would have sounded like if it was the practice band that gelled together and could rock out. That's why sometimes when you hear, I'm all over the place. When you hear like certain Roots sometimes, or even a D'Angelo, one of these bands who are actually really good, and they'll jump in and play somebody else's song, it'd be like, yo, that sound crazy like that. Because that's probably what it should have really sounded like, but not enough people around to be able to do that. Anyway,
I was just going to add, as far as mood,
go ahead.
That kind of affects what song you want to go out on, which is part of the reason why you had to be ready to do anything. Like, you got to know all these songs, because you just never know. You know how you talked about, when the groove is working, there's an atmosphere, there's a temperature that's happening, and then you go with that. That's what I think.
That's perfect. I like that. Definitely.
Absolutely. I was gonna say other songs I would throw in there, like a song like, I feel like Trust. Is you trust, who do you?
Yeah.
I could see that being like, it would have been the end of the grand finale. Big City, like one of those movies. In the big city.
I really think he could make any of them work just by the way that you play it. Depends on what you're doing with it. That's what I think.
You're a musician, so
right.
Sorry.
You bring a musician
different context to it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yes, as Ricky says, never underestimate real musicians.
Amen. Exactly. Yeah.
Absolutely. All right. Well, let me get back to our slideshow first, so I can stay on target. So yes, we did talk about those jammy jams right there. Let me get back on here. And of course, this is the week of the 21st, June 21st, 1983. So far, we've had 52 live shows, 1 after show, 32 star asterisk studio visits total, 23 songs tracked so far this year. And again, these are all of the songs. Won't name all of them, but you can see a lot of classics listed there already. Bam. And just man, the titles alone: Chocolate, Go Kitty Cat, Sleazy Sex Shooter, Vibrator, G. Like, what the hell? Who? We was on that back then.
Like I said, mood, vibe.
This is what they was on back then. It was a difference. There wasn't a lot of violence. It was a lot of loving and pleasuring and all that. But anyway, so a 1 award ceremony, 1 TV show, 2 rehearsals, TV tapings, Solid Gold. Who remembers that? And then he was on the 3rd annual Minnesota Music Awards. Then, of course, the rehearsals, June 15th, Baby I'm a Star, I Would Die for You. Getting the band ready, getting them like, we're going to work these songs. June 21st, rehearsals we just talked about. Now, how
did we arrive here?
What happened was,
I'm like, are we also doing Arms of Orion stuff today too? Or what are we doing?
We got into the conversation about Shake, which I honestly don't remember how we got into that. What were we talking about to get into that? But I've always had a love-hate relationship with this song. I was so disappointed when I got the Graffiti Bridge album, and when I'm like, oh, the time is gonna be here. They gonna have bangers. That's all they do. Like, you just dropped a record, and I'm like, and it's all the new, it's the all the OG members. They gonna be on a Prince record. I think the song, what was the first song? Stella, you better release it. That one. So if I'm listening to the album, I'm like, okay. I was kind of like, that's not what I expected, but I think they're trying to get the little hip hop thing going. Okay, let that go. But I was like, I know the next song they about to stop. So when it came on, I was like, Jake. And in my mind, as I said last time, in my mind, I was thinking, man, this sounds like Wild Thing, or it makes me think of Wild Thing.
Oh yeah, you said tone up. Yeah,
You know, I was
Yeah.
like,
that's not positive.
I thought it was. Where's my? You know, I'm still wanting to hear. You know, I'm back then, and so I was just like almost thrown off. You know, I was just like, and then I was like, they have another song here, right? So that's why I was. So this song to me became. You know what I'm saying? The time we looked at, that's my boy. Like they don't never, you know what I'm saying? I was like, man, they done got flipped up a little bit. They like so that was my thing about it. But I checked my email, as I'm sure a lot of you, because I signed up to the newsletter for Mr. Seeley, and my brother wrote a book, a small novella about Shake and how I was wrong.
Okay. Well, all right then.
So, man, sir, please tell us, in your opinion, and maybe fact, about the song Shake.
Shake.
So, all right. For everybody, just kind of the serendipitous part of this. As y'all know, last week I was in between. I had a workshop, and so I was listening and going to this workshop. Actually, why I'm dressed this way, I had a workshop this morning at 8. I got another one at 2, 3. So as I heard, I was laughing with everybody else about Shake, and then I heard a few things. And then somebody put in the chat, see, Alicia write a breakdown on Shake. And I just like laughed about it and said, well, that ain't gonna happen, right? So, but then I started really laughing about it. I thought about it. So for those of you who are on the newsletter know, the newsletter usually comes out on Friday. But like doing midweek, I may just send some stuff out. So I wrote it and sent it out just to like, hey, just as a lot, y'all check this out. But there was also some points I wanted to make. And then so D'Angela Prof Duff said, hey, I need you to come on and read it. I said, it's long as hell. She said, well, I still want you to come on and read it. And so that's how we got here, was that I was basically going to surprise Brother Dean and D'Angela. And so she actually emailed me and asked me to come on a day before I sent out the article. Like it was finished. So that's why I was like, oh, so yeah, somebody in the chat said, see, Alicia, right? And I'll add this one last thing, then I'll read it, is the cool thing about what this book club and what you guys have been doing is, so I'm just going to say, so my book is like 600 pages. I never intended to write a book that long. Let me be really clear. I know that damn long time I hit print and I ran out of paper in the printer. Like, what the hell? So what I'm saying, so I said that to say that even with a 600-page book, Prince has such a catalog. When I did the Moonbeam Levels, I don't discuss Moonbeam Levels in my book. Like I never just, and even Shake doesn't really get mentioned, right? And so, but it was hearing people talk about it. So I'll go ahead now. So people in the chat, feel free to go get some tea or go get something. And I'm gonna try to get through as quickly as I can, and then we'll come back. And I want people to put in the chat, because again, well, I'll just read it and then we'll have whatever discussion if I don't get stoned. All right. So of course, last episode, Shake was discussed, or shall I say crucified. Understanding that Prince is a musical pie chart with more slices than most folks, it's useless to debate what's a good or bad Prince song, because so many Prince fans enter his work through so many different slices of his pie. While I'm a blues, rock, funk, soul, and gospel lover, I can also enjoy other aspects of Prince's artistry. Yet I've learned not to be surprised by what a Prince fan likes or doesn't like. Once I learned that there are Prince fans who don't like Adore, I realized that many of us are engaging and enjoying Prince for a plethora of reasons. Also, I have no idea why anybody would like Mr. Goodnight. But again, I don't judge or begrudge those who do. I just bag slowly away from them. As one insightful Prince fan once wrote, quote, one person's love sexy is another person's rainbow children, end quote. As such, the crucifixion of Shake didn't move me much. I get why some like it and why many don't. However, I did raise one eyebrow when a few folks indicated that Shake is not a real-time song. Not liking Shake is a personal preference. But saying that Shake is not a time song is where one's personal taste may be blinding one from seeing that even a song like Shake has its place in the Times catalog. First, anyone who says that Shake is not a time song either hasn't heard or has forgotten the song Dance to the Beat. Possibly written in 1981, Dance to the Beat is an unreleased song performed by the Time a few times live in early 1982, with Prince playing the song with them once. It doesn't seem that the song was meant to be on the Times 1982 album, What Time Is It? But it does exist, and it was played live, which means that Prince and the Time thought enough of the song to present it to an audience. Most importantly, Dance to the Beat is a rockabilly song in the vein of Delirious, Horny Toad, and No Call You. Yet this time, it's the brothers getting to play rockabilly and playing it quite well, I might add. If you've ever heard this song or seen the video of the Time playing it live, they are completely comfortable playing this song. We've all seen people without rhythm trying to dance. We can tell that they're actually counting in their heads to stay on beat. Unfortunately for them, their minds and their bodies are not synced, so there's always an awkward pause between the movements or slight hesitation going from one move to the next. To this point, there is no awkwardness or incongruity in the Times playing of Dance to the Beat. They are as comfortable playing rockabilly as they are playing funk. Excuse me. Similarly, Shake is a bouncy pop rock song with a heavy bottom, which makes it difficult to categorize. Yet, it's a song to which one can easily do the hand jive, which was a popular 1950s dance. However, you can also do the Harlem Shake to it. Shake is a slower, less syncopated than the Young Rascals song Good Lovin', and faster, more syncopated than Marvin Gaye's Hitchhike. But all three songs are phonetically metatextual in that they are having a discourse on where is the line that separates R&B and rock and roll, which affirms why Dance to the Beat would have been an important record for the Time to release. Prince was very careful not to craft the Time as stereotypical big black bucks who are only concerned with kicking ass and fucking anything that moves. Songs such as After High School and One Day I'm Gonna Be Somebody make it clear that these brothers are holistic beings who are presented as subjects rather than objects in Prince's narrative about what black music can be. While the lyrics of Shake don't do much to expand what it means to be a black man or a black band, the music is another example of Prince as a phonetic genius. By giving this song to the Time, he is expanding their musical essence, which works to expand their human essence. On every Time album, there's a song that is designed to be both danceable while also challenging the definition of what an R&B record can be and what a funk band can be. As such, Shake is Prince once again responding to Funkadelic's song Who Says a Funk Band Can't Play Rock by giving the Time a song that many would expect to be a Prince song. Yet those very same fans who would consider themselves diehard or true Prince fans are being as myopic and stereotypical as the people who only wanted Prince to create one type of music. To be clear, this commentary is not about people trying to get people to like Shake, but to say that Shake is not a Time song is to fall victim to the white control media notion of what a black man has the intellectual and aesthetic capacity to be. Next, Shake fits the Time motif of wit as a reflection of cool because humor is the third leg of the Time tripod of funk, style, and wit. To be cool is to be funky, stylish, and witty, and one's wit can manifest as being flippant, irreverent, or just fun, of which the Time is all of these. Moreover, humor is a major cornerstone of Prince's musical and lyrical catalog, and as Jamie Starr, the Time was molded as the explicit personification of Prince's humor, which allowed the more implicit or introspective humor to be presented in Prince's own songs. Thus, just a glance at the Times catalog, and we find that the vast majority of their songs are built on or include sections of humor, including My Stick, Wild and Loose, Grace, One Day I'm Gonna Be Somebody, The Walk, If the Kid Can't Make You Come, Jerk Out, Yunked, Blondie, Chocolate, Cooking Class, Skillet, Release It, Love Machine, Latest Faction, and the very unfortunate Donald Trump Black Virgin, which proves that all art, especially music and humor, doesn't always age well. Now, in full disclosure, I like the music, vocal delivery, and most of the lyrics of Donald Trump Black Virgin when it first released, despite simultaneously having issues with the assimilation aspirations of the lyrics. I can enjoy something even if I don't completely agree with it. And I'm not going to sit here and lie to y'all now like I skipped the song when it plays. Yet, because of all of the aforementioned songs, no one can deny that a major part of the Times' appeal is humor. Similarly, Shake is in the mold of that with lyrics such as, quote, Lucy standing there with the false hair on. Don't shake it too hard or it will be gone, end quote. During the late 80s, weaves and extensions were becoming increasingly popular in the African American community. Many of the male comics on BET's Comic View and HBO's Def Comedy Jam were commenting on this trend. And some of the female comics were quick to respond with quips such as, you damn right it's my hair, I paid for it. Thus, through humor, the Time is showing itself to be timely by commenting on an issue that is being deeply and intensely discussed and debated within the African American community. And of course, since Prince is actually writing the song, it's another example that Prince was always well informed and well engaged within African American culture. Moreover, because the music is light and poppy, it's the perfect complement to the lyrics. It's not a funk groove. It's not a sexual groove. Prince, once again, showing himself to be a phonetic genius, is providing the perfect sound for the message, which is, let's just have some fun. That's the whole point of the Time, to have fun while Prince is musing about nuclear holocaust, sexual politics, racism, and spiritual Armageddon. As the foil and escape from the heavy lyrics of Prince, the Time just wants us to, quote, get out on the floor and shake something. Furthermore, as it relates to the theme of the film Graffiti Bridge, Shake is the embodiment of humanity's focus on the physical world, which is why Morris Day's character sings it, because he's only concerned about the business of music as opposed to Prince's character, the kid, who's concerned about the spiritual application of music to aid in the evolution of humanity. Morris wants people shaking their ass on the dance floor because it will earn him money. The kid wants to move people's minds and souls so that they will be transported to their higher selves, which is why the kid doesn't allow the sale of alcohol at his club, Glam Slam. To this point, Monty Moore says, quote, that's why Glam Slam ain't making no money. Ain't nobody drinking, end quote. By the way, somebody cued the great Scott Wood's phenomenal paper on the flawed business practices of the clubs in Graffiti Bridge. As such, Shake represents the highest point in the film for Morris's character, as he has everything he wants. He's stolen the angel aura from the kid. He's making money hand over fist because his club Pandemonium is more popular than Glam Slam. And it seems that he's about to win the battle of the bands, which will give him the ownership deed to the kid's club. Even though the song Joy and Repetition, which appears earlier in the film, is the prophetic vision of what the kid needs, he's not yet evolved enough to understand fully Aura's purpose and meaning. After having watched Day and the Time steal both the spotlight and Aura, the kid answers with Tick Tick Bang, an explosive funk track, which is a return to the old sexually explicit lyrics. It is a creation of anger. The kid is using fire to fight fire, attempting to show that he can be just as explosive and popular as the Time. In response to the song Shake, the kid wants to prove that he can move people's bodies as well as their minds. This is much in the same vein of the creation of the Black Album, which was partly a response to critics such as Nelson George, who had proclaimed that Prince was no longer funky. While Tick Tick Bang is one of my favorite songs, musically and lyrically, its purpose in the film is much like the purpose of Computer Blue and Darling Nikki in Purple Rain, to show a certain disconnect that the kid has with the people in his surroundings. Thus, my ongoing comments about Tick Tick Bang do not reflect my personal feelings for the song, but how the song is used symbolically to drive the narrative and the theme of the film. Because the song is received as being contrived, Tick Tick Bang is not enjoyed or accepted by the crowd assembled on the street in the same way that they just finished enjoying Shake. This could represent Prince's own failed attempts at this point in 1990 to recapture the street audience, the very ones who made him a cult figure. Tick Tick Bang is not where the kid's heart is. So no matter how funky the music or explosive the lyrics, it does not have the essence of a song which comes from his experience or emotional reality. Therefore, Shake wins the first round of the battle because it's straightforward fun without a social political agenda, as most pop songs tend to be. Additionally, Tick Tick Bang falls on deaf ears because it's artificial. The kid, in a desperate act to respond to Shake, abandons his heart for superficial fame, making the expected explosion of Tick Tick Bang nothing more than a small dud. The message in the song's failure to connect with the crowd is be true to yourself no matter how isolated it may cause you to be. The rewards of being honest and true to oneself are greater than the rewards gained from going along to get along. Also, being true to yourself is the only way that your work and life can have meaning. Shake, on the other hand, is not trying to be anything other than fun. And to dismiss this song as not a time song is to be dismissive of other time songs that are also about just having fun. Finally, while Shake doesn't present a line or choreographed dance song per se, it's in the tradition of songs about dances, i.e. the bird and the walk, because it's a celebration of community and communal sensibilities through dance. While I won't restate everything I said in my article analyzing Diamonds and Pearls, it's clear that Prince had an affinity for dance songs or songs about dances. Like most of us, Prince's childhood was filled with a lot of dances that one had to learn to be part of the community. Mastering a new dance was a definition of what it means to be stylish and hip, which means to be synchronous with one's community. Moreover, Dr. Tony Bolden shows in his excellent book, Groove Theory, that dancing is a physical expression of individual and communal ideology. Therefore, to learn a new dance, especially one that is popular in one's community, is affirmation of being unified with one's community while promoting and being in dialogue with the sensibilities and principles of that same community. Simply put, communal dances are how communities express love and togetherness. To this point, Shake isn't just about dancing, and it isn't just about dance as a vertical execution of a horizontal desire. It's about getting people to commune around music purely for the sake of a good time. There is definitely sexual innuendo in Shake, but sexual conquest isn't the prime directive of the song. More specifically, it's about having people liberate themselves from whatever social shackles that might be hindering their ability to enjoy life. In 3 different verses, the song implores listeners to liberate themselves from shyness and fear and step into a more fulfilled existence as symbolized by dancing. Quote, hey people, what you come here for? Come on everybody, let's get out on the floor. Come on pretty baby, now don't be shy. New liberated girl, ask a guy. Marilyn's so worried about her 2 left feet. Pretty thing keeps worrying about keeping on the beat, end quote. The last 2 lines of Shake recall and evoke the skit at the end of the walk, in which Morris convinces the female to free or liberate herself from the arbitrary confines of how to dress or what is considered appropriate dress. When the female from the walk states, but all the girls will stare at me, Morris responds, all the girls in this neighborhood already wear camisoles. The wallflower is often a symbol of a person who has become self-contained or encaged by insecurity because one has allowed society to convince oneself that one is not worthy of pursuing whatever makes one happy. Thus, leaving the wall and entering the dance floor is a metaphor for overcoming social anxiety or just learning how to have fun. The great lie is that dance must be done properly, when the truth is that dance just must be done, which is why Morris repeats several times, you gotta shake something. Yes, line and choreographed dances are ways in which people connect with community, but dance is as much about the individual as it is about the collective. Thus, to evoke a much later Prince song, Free Yourself, quote, we need your help. There's so much work to do. Free yourself, end quote. Prince is asserting that there is no community without the individual. Thus, the community needs the individual to free oneself and shake something so that the community can free itself and make a moment into a movement. In many ways, dancing is about liberation because music is a conduit that enables people to transcend their lackluster lives, allowing their emotions, ideas, and body to converge in a moment of the sublime. The goal is often to lose oneself through dance. And since dance is often a communal experience, that becomes a shared experience that bonds people culturally, even if temporarily, in a moment or movement of liberation that many take with them from the club and manifest into their daily lives. Therefore, to say that Shake is not a time song is to limit what the time is and can be, which is to limit what black men can be. Again, I'm not arguing that Shake is a good, well-crafted, or pleasing song. I like it, and I understand why others don't. Yet, during their tour for Pandemonium, which ran from 1990 to 1991, the Time performed Shake at many of the shows, even performing it as an encore during a few shows. At this point in their career, they are no longer under the thumb of Prince. They can choose to perform whatever songs they like. Yet Shake makes the list as a song about which they felt good enough to perform live multiple times. If nothing else, that proves that they thought highly of it and understood the song's ability to move a crowd while allowing them to expand who they are as artists and as men. In short, the song allowed them to shake the false assertions and limitations of what it means to be black men and a black band while maintaining their reputations as some of the greatest performers and musicians of all time. I'll shut up. Thank you.
Lord.
Wow. So I'm gonna go watch Graffiti Bridge again. I'm gonna start all the way over. I'm gonna start all the way over. I feel like, wow.
That's
Dang.
Man. Listen, man, you have the gift, man. Like,
Yeah.
hey, I was just asking, are you going to Celebration next week? You broke it down. I love it.
The only issue I had with it was that part where you had said something about not understanding why people like Mr. Goodnight. That was the only thing. Other than that, it was great. I was like, excuse me? But yeah, no.
And like I said, that's why I said Prince got all these pie slices. And we all eat different ones. Some of us partake and others more than some. And I was really just joking because I was one of those people that, like, the first time somebody told me they didn't like adore, like, I didn't even have words. Like, I didn't like, like you try to explain. It was, when somebody told me they didn't like adore, it was like they were looking at a stop sign and telling me that was a yield sign. How you respond to that? So I understand that that we all enter. Prince, one of my things I always say, Prince has more slices in his pie chart. But what Prince understood is that we all have those slices in our pie chart. Just some of us don't explore ourselves. And so, yeah, so that's what I was just joking about that. And again, I'm not telling you to like Shake. I just wanted to kind of put something out there that make people think that, well, hey, Dance to the Beat is out here. One day I'm going to be somebody's going to be out here.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I love what you said. And I do have to say this. It goes into this thing where people think I don't like something equals it is bad. And those two things are not the same.
Exactly.
You have your preference, and then the music is kind of what it is.
Well, Sister Brown, please say that again. Please say it again.
I don't like it does not equal it is bad. Two separate things.
Thank you.
The only thing I can say about Shake and the time, and I agree with everything you said, but for me, the time, I'm just saying for me, the time is, Get It Up, 779311, them songs I'm gonna have in the car bumping when I'm driving, the time. So I'm not bumping, even though, was it after high school? Do I know after high school? Absolutely. But that one I put on my time flow chat, mixtape, man, I'm gonna turn that down. One day I'm gonna be somebody. Now I think that song is kind of dope, but again, am I gonna be out bumping? Actually, I could maybe, but probably not. That's not. That ain't the flavor. Same way with Shake. I'm not gonna go from jig long. Shake. That's just not how I listen to the time. So not that I don't appreciate the other songs, but it'd be like if Zap or something. When I think of Roger Troutman and Zap, boom, boom, and then if they had a song on a record that was some rockabilly, it could be dope. But we wasn't playing that. We weren't playing that at the house. Stop playing. That wasn't when you was at the party. They didn't play they wasn't playing after high school at the old school Minneapolis funk parties. They was playing all the mother jams. So that's just how I listened to them. So with that said, that's why when I heard the song, I was disappointed because I was just like, I know they can do anything, but they are the cornerstone of that. Just all of that kind of stuff. That's what I wanted to hear. That's the listener, not necessarily any indication of them being wrong.
No. And I think that's an important point because what you're saying is you're affirming what Sister Brown is saying. Like you weren't saying they shouldn't be doing it. You're saying that, hey, that's just not what. And what I find interesting is when you gave the example of Roger and Zap, they used to perform in Mississippi a lot at this place called, we have this festival called Fair Street Festival. It's completely black-owned, black creative festival. It was one of the biggest festivals in the South for a while. And Roger and Zap, when they would come, believe it or not, they used to do a 15-minute rockabilly section in their live show. So when you said Roger, so again, it's one of those things that where what's for the radio and what we assume. And I can imagine that people who was coming there for More Bounce to the House and I Can Make You Dance, when they go into this rockabilly thing, and I for those of us who were there for everything, we were like, yeah, but I'm sure that was a couple of brothers like, hey, what the hell? And
we was doing it to Prince.
Right. And so my question to you and Sister Brown and anybody in the chat, because I like what you said. So my question is, where does Strawberry Lake fall? Because let me tell you why. When I first heard Strawberry Lake, I was driving and damn near stood up in my car because that was for me the missing link between the time and Sly and the Family Song. It was like when Strawberry Lake comes on, it was like the original 7. And I'm not one of them people who hate the name the original 7 because they're, we know why they was using the original 7. Those kind of things. But I also like it because, in a sense, by using the original 7, it allowed them to kind of dip out from under the shadow of Prince. And I think that a song like Strawberry Lake was them saying, here's a song we would have liked to have done that Prince wouldn't have let us do it. Here's why Prince wouldn't let him do it. Not because it wasn't good, because remember, Prince was conscious of the overlap and didn't want the time doing things that he thought would have been redundant to them, right? Don't do this dance move. Don't play this way. So even Prince was conscious. And I think that the only reason that Dance to the Beat doesn't get recorded and released or put on the album, because Prince was clear that was going to sound too much like something that could have been on Dirty Mind or Controversy. So my question is, where does Strawberry Lake fall for you guys in this discussion of what the time is and what we think?
I would say, it falls in the same place Ice Cream Castles falls, because what you just broke down, that's how I kind of felt about Ice Cream Castles. I was like, this song is dope, but it was different for the time. It almost sounded like something I could have seen Prince do that song too. I remember my dad, like, he wasn't a super fan of either one of them, but even he was arguing with me like, Ice Cream Castle, this is way better than anything on the Prince album. This the real stuff right here. He always sort of looked at Prince like, that's just some lightweight. Y'all kids don't know. But he could hear, and he just didn't want to give Prince the props.
Right.
But he was hearing it in the time, like, that's some shit. Whoever did this, that's the one right there. And I always thought, like, yeah, kind of, that's the time. Kind of, we super fun, but now we can speak on some these other little topics, almost getting into some type topics and stuff, but it was still grooving, and they still broke it down and all that. But that really opened them up. So Strawberry Strawberry Lake, whatever. That to me, I was like, oh, they kind of falling back in that bag a little bit. You know?
Mm-hmm.
I
I'm
don't.
glad you brought that out, Mel. I'm
I
sorry,
have
go
to
ahead.
say, I don't see it that way. If it's a band where there are actual musicians in it, I imagine that they can play whatever they feel like playing. So I never think I don't like categories that much, which is part of the reason why I like Prince, is because he could do everything. So I might say it sounds different than what they normally do, but I never think of it in terms of it's not them. It's just interesting. My other thing is I know people get tired of playing the same thing all the time over and over. That repetitive thing can get boring, and people, especially creatives, they like to do something different every now and then. So I just welcome it. Doesn't mean I always like the song, but I respect it.
Right.
Right. Yeah. And the pettiness in me, there was a question earlier. Somebody said, well, what does Shake have to do with the book? Prince wrote both songs in the book, and that's
And for those who not on the newsletter, I didn't read the first 4 or 5 sentences in the article. Didn't say much time, but what I say in the first 5 sentences of the article is that what's great about what Prince did this week is that it allows us as Prince fans to go down as many different rabbit holes. And what's great about going down those rabbit holes is that we uncover things that wouldn't necessarily be discussed. And so what Shake came out of a discussion of one of those other brilliant rabbit holes. And I can't speak for anybody else. I'm so thankful for those rabbit holes. Like, I'm so thankful because a lot of times, when Sister D, when Prophet Duff said that she was gonna do this, she gonna go through that slow read. I ain't gonna lie. My first time, I was like, well, I mean, I'm gonna watch. I mean, I'm gonna see how this works. I ain't gonna lie. Like, I wasn't one of the people. Like, I ain't gonna be like, I knew that song was gonna be a hit. I knew this show was gonna be a hit. Like, I was like, well, God bless your scholarship, Sister D. I'm gonna watch. I don't know if y'all remember The Color Purple when Suge Avery was getting rid of all the food, and finally Miss Celia made her something. She slid and she said, "I'm gonna sit here and see what color the walls turn." That's why I was like, I'm gonna watch what did Prince do this week and see what color the walls. And so
hilarious.
I'm so thankful that Professor Duff had the vision, because these rabbit holes have uncut and made connections that we've talked about so many other things. Right, that we as individual Prince fans in our silos, that we're bringing things to other Prince fans to go, hey, check this out, or check out what's over here, check out what's doing that. And so that's how for those who how Shake got into the discussion was going through those rabbit holes that I love.
Yes, and also a shout out to Steve Park, who did this great illustration.
I was just thinking, Shake, Chocolate, Pandemonium album, Pandemonium Club, all of that stuff is connected. So
yeah, man. All right, there we go. All right, and as we're moving forward, all of the songs that were mentioned here today, except for Shake, I don't know if Shake's in the playlist, but
Shake.
Shake. And of course, you can follow the schedule, stay up to date, get your pre-read on so that you're ready when you come here Saturday. Get your study on during the week. Then when you come into class, or to come into, I'm not gonna say what I was about to say, but when you come here to our book club, hey, you know where we're gonna be at. And that was it. So we have come to the payoff. First of all, Celie and Violet, thank you so much for coming and joining, being a part of this. Y'all hosts. This is home now. You done been on here a few times, so y'all are part of this now. You've been indoctrinated.
Well, like I said, I told you before we came on, brother, I'm so glad you exist. If y'all have not seen the episode of Podcast Juice where they discuss Prince, indie artists or pop artists, I used to tell my students that critical thinking can be utilitarian, and critical thinking is utilitarian, but also critical thinking is just about expanding your mind. It's about engaging topics that you may not have an answer, but your mind is better for it. And what I love about you, Brother Dean, is that a lot of times on your show, and that's what you bring here as well, is that we engage topics that it may not be a right or a wrong or a particular solution, but it helps expand our mind, not just about Prince, but understanding that the same critical thinking that we're using here can be used on many different ways to expand. And if nothing else, can at least get people to be more loving and kind to people by being more loving and kind about their ideas. And so I'm so glad that you exist, you know, and Sister Brown as an artist and just as a scholar, and just as a human being who brings light, man. I'm just look, and of course, you know, Sister Prof D, I want to thank both of y'all for just, you know, creating that foundation. And I get to bring my Clarksville, Mississippi blues self on here, and we see, being black, we told that don't go embarrass all other black people. And being from Mississippi, whenever I'm doing something national, Mississippi be like, hey, don't be embarrassing all the Mississippi. So I always had to say that I had to hold down for the blues, but I just love the fact of what y'all do and how y'all create it. And everybody in the chat too, man. This is a beautiful family.
Yeah.
And I want to come back because I need to go back what Sister Brown said that, you know, we need to understand that we all have different aesthetics because we have different lives. Like people bring different things to songs. There are certain songs that I'm never going to understand that song the way you do because I'm not bringing that experience. And that experience could be your personal situation. It could be your intellectual craft. It could be like Brother Dean and Sister Brown, y'all could mention songs I probably never heard of. So y'all are going to hear songs in ways. What we need to start doing is don't condemn people for something they say or don't like. Educate them. Right? If we can just educate people and say, here's what I think Prince is doing, or here's what I think the poet is doing, or here's what I think the director is doing. Because if you can just get people to respect things, they may not never like it, but just respecting things, right? Yes, and somebody put the interview with the graphic designer, brother, that one right there. When you LaPuma, Sister LaPuma, when you interviewed, that was another example of just opening our minds to just thinking different, which that's what I think Prince wanted. He wanted us to see the possibilities, not the limitations. Right? Stop seeing the limitations. Stop seeing what you don't think you can do. Because look, I'm for one. You know, I was in a room with Prince where he thought I was supposed to take everything he did without notes and then type that ish up and get it back to him. Well, no notes was a hell of a limitation to me, but he didn't see it as and so that's through his music, that's through everything that he's done. He's often said, if you love yourself and love people, then you can overcome any limitation and make this world what it's supposed to be. I'll shut up.
I'm like, you keep talking. I'm in church. I'm in class. I feel like, okay, all right.
Yeah.
I love to learn new things, so I'm in heaven right now.
Man, you are a treasure, sir.
For sure.
Truly,
For sure.
You are, man.
Yeah.
Wow. Man, you said it all. We want to thank everybody in the chat, everyone who's been watching this, everyone who will watch it. Man, please continue to share, continue to like, hit subscribe, and all that good stuff. But just coming here on the Saturday, commenting, that's the great part of it. You can actually be a part of this for real, every Saturday. So please join us. Violet, thank you so much. Just everything that you do, we appreciate. We love you. Your videos that you do, the bass playing, and just the constant Prince stuff. Keep it going. We love it.
Thanks for having me.
Our pleasure. With that said, my name is Michael Dean. You already know. Work it like a job. We'll see you next time.